Now, we will be taking you live to Parliament because the minority is holding a press conference. Alexander Afenyo Markin, the minority leader, is about to speak.
Caucus have a good reason to bring to your attention and that of the Ghanaian public some growing concerns about the ongoing vetting process of President Mahama's ministerial nominees. To begin with, it is now a known fact that we have, at the risk of criticism from our own party and supporters, elected to expedite the vetting process for the new administration. We took this decision because we believe it is better for the president to have his ministers in place early rather than leave the ministries to civil servants to run. And pursuant to this decision, we have even dispensed with the convention to advertise and invite memos for at least 14 days ahead of the appointment committee's public hearing. We have cooperated with the majority side extensively and have even been criticized for not conducting detailed inquisition into matters concerning some of the president's nominees. Despite this, we are beginning to observe attempts by the majority to force through some nominees and railroad them through a rubber stamp process. We are also beginning to observe a breakdown of security, law and order within the precincts of Parliament, and especially last night at the committee room by some NDC thugs. These thugs were hired, organized and brought in to come and intimidate the minority. But let me tell the NDC, we are few, but we are a mighty few. Yeah. We are firm in our conviction, we are determined, and we shall never surrender to their intimidation. Indeed, yesterday night, we saw verbal attacks on us, and it took the vigilance of the police to escort us out of the chamber. We commend the police for what they did last night in ensuring law and order, and we urge them to continue their good work. We are also concerned about the attempt by the majority to disregard pre-sitting agreement on a number of nominees to appear before the appointment committee. Indeed, this is what led to last night's situation. Yesterday, there was an agreement to have only 3 nominees for the day. They later changed it to 4. We agreed and later requested for a 5th nominee, only to realize that after the 5th nominee, the NDC has smuggled Mr. Okujeto Ablakwa into the committee room. He came fully dressed with his wife and other family members, and he was forcing his way to take his seat. Not only him, there were other regional minister nominees who had not been programmed, but they had forced them into the committee sitting room. Their plan was to use their so-called supermajority to intimidate us. The NDC must know, here and now, that they won an election. And that election they won, they are to govern together with us. We will not allow them to use their so-called majority to force their way. It won't happen. In fact, we are not going to boycott any proceedings. Boycott is not part of us. At all. We will stay in and protest and they will not have their way. But I want to assure them that because we have been in government before and we know governance, we will not obstruct government business. We are further concerned about the breakdown of security within the precinct of Parliament and the way strangers feel emboldened. NDC, know that Parliament is not an extension of your party offices where you allow vandalism. You bring your party foot soldiers here to cause confusion. If today you are unleashing them on us, tomorrow when these boys are hungry and angry, they will come after you. It's not a prophecy. It's a reality. We cannot be intimidated even as we perform our legitimate constitutional mandate. And we caution the parliamentary service led by the Clerk to Parliament and his able marshal to urgently step up security within the precinct of Parliament and protect the minority to enable us do our work. It will be an eyesore to witness supporters of the minority also invade Parliament House to provide security for our side. Our members are asking us questions, but we keep assuring them that we are a party of law and order. We believe in the police, and we know the police can do a good job. We are fortified by the conventions of the House, which have provided ranking members of committee the opportunity to inquire deeply into every nominee of the president without limit to questions. Since 1993, ranking members have always been given an unlimited opportunity. Why is it that when it gets to Afenyo Markin, the NDC would want to frustrate the process? In any event, it is not every nominee that I question. This morning, the nominee for Ministry of Health, we spent only 30 minutes. So the nominees themselves should know that they are now coming into public office. Their conduct, their humility, their conduct would help matters. If you have a nominee who is so arrogant, so partisan, so disrespectful, so deceptive, so dishonest, you don't expect us to spend 5 minutes. Those who come and prepare well and know their brief and show us respect, we also reciprocate. Not those who would come and be insulting and abusing the Chief Justice of the Republic, the former president of the land, and you expect us to clap for them and take tea with them. We will not. I'm therefore cautioning the chair of the committee not to yield to those extremists who are pushing him to assert his authority because he is weak. The chair of the committee should know that we respect him. But I must also be quick to commend Honorable Mahama Yariga. He has shown leadership. His diplomacy is at its all-time best. He's done well. His engagement, the transparency he has introduced, should it continue, would have a very peaceful parliament. How he engages us is the way to go in this parliament. But to my respected friend, Roxton Eche Dafiamepo, if he thinks that he is still in opposition and he would be a bully, then he would meet his meter. The Afenyo Markin has gained notoriety of shouting, yelling, undermining his own chairman, interrupting proceedings, undermining his own majority leader, and he describes himself as the avant-garde of the government. Really, is he the first majority chief whip? The majority chief whip role is to be a key negotiator. He should be a diplomat in the chamber. His job is not to fight. If he did so successfully in opposition, now he is in government. So President Mahama and his government may have to rethink their choice of Roxin Echet Afenyo Markin as their majority chief whip. Throughout the approval process, the NDC has never marshaled its numbers in the chamber. They claim that they are a majority. Every single day we come into the chamber, we count them. The average number they have ever had in the chamber has been 92. It was only on one occasion that they had 104. So it has always taken our side to add up to their side to make the number to take government business through. So they should be humble enough to cooperate than that attempt to bully us. It will not happen. We would urge them to continue to respect the conventions and arrangements associated with the process of vetting. And if they do so, we'll cooperate with them. Now the clerk to the committee. This clerk to the committee has shown her colors that she is of the NDC stock. We are going to officially write to the clerk to Parliament to withdraw this lady from the appointment committee. And that lady must either resign as a parliamentary staff or change her posture without delay. When we were in government, this same clerk will insist that the minority must have its say, read through reports before it is signed by the chair. This same clerk today will advertise those who have been scheduled for vetting at midnight without notice to us as minority. Reports get signed, and the first time the minority will see the report will be on the floor. The practice has been that I would see the draft, go through, share my concerns before it is signed. But on a number of occasions, I try to engage quietly to resolve these things. Not even once has this NDC clerk brought a report to my attention. This morning, after all her numerous sins, she committed another grave sin this morning again. We were in Parliament as early as 8 o'clock to have our caucus meeting. When we were done, the majority chief whip reached out to the chief whip of our caucus that they wanted us to have a meeting. We agreed to the meeting. They said they were waiting for the majority leader. Indeed, the majority leader himself called me that he was on his way and that the meeting should be held in his office. Whilst waiting, we now saw the NDC caucus commencing the vetting. And this same clerk, without reaching out to us, administered the oath. What an irresponsible clerk we have. What an unprofessional clerk we have. What a partisan clerk we have. She must be ashamed of herself and ashamed of her profession as a parliamentary service staff. We will not spare her. We will go all out to deal with her in accordance with law if she will not change. Our parliament boasts of mature conventions and practices. And this we have navigated all these years. We would urge our colleagues one more time to cooperate with us. We want to assure the people of Ghana that we are acting in good faith. We want to support the government and be constructive, but will not allow ourselves to be bullied. We are the mighty few.
Mighty minority. Mighty minority.
We are the mighty few. We will not surrender. We will not give up. And we know that God willing, fortune will smile at us come 2028. We are the new patriotic party. We are the new patriotic party. The elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to save Ghana. The elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to save Ghana. We shall win. We shall win. We shall win to save Ghana. Save Ghana. We shall win. To save Ghana. The elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to save Ghana. Oh, the elephant is a winning symbol. We shall win to save Ghana. Radu, radu, radu. Radu, radu, radu. General assassin. Eya body de maye. Mojana na nu shebu garitu o maye. Edomene wososo seyebe yebiatraso. Nibiatraso kozo kanija pese minkunya. Ejulembremu amaya sasimu go atuse. Omanu seyo. Ayese na ose. Omafu braneche. Omanu seyo. Ayese na ose. Omafu braneche. Thank you very much. No questions. Sorry about that. One of our colleagues will do the fancy or the tree version. I'll continue my work at the vetting. The press statement is here.
Well, the vetting has just concluded. Let's speak to more and more people. Honorable Samuel Uku, there are those who would say that your committee is perhaps picking up on. Your side is picking up on the clerk to the committee, given that it's an ordinary civil servant. The chairman says, do this. What can she do?
The thing is that the clerk liaises between both the minority, majority, and the chairman. So at every point in time, we all agree that, okay, this is the number that we are going to vet. But we have also noted with great concern that anytime the clerk comes to discuss the number and the personnel or the nominees we are going to vet, we get there and we are ambushed and surprised by another list or additions to the list. That obviously, and also this is a vetting that you have to prepare. You need to know the right questions you want to ask. You need to research and dig deep as to what at least will be of public interest. And we are representatives of the people. So if my constituents send me questions that affect them, things that bother them, and I come there, and that is not the nominee to be vetted, but instead they ambush you with somebody you haven't prepared for, that is bad faith. And that is why we believe that the clerk should act professionally. The clerk to the committee, let me emphasize, not the clerk to Parliament, but the clerk to the committee. And that is why we are clear in our minds that she's taking a partisan posture. It's inconsistent with the tenets and the principles that we're dealing with in that room.
Thank you very much, Honorable Samuel. I'll talk to Honorable Kojo Pankuma too briefly, then I'll come to you. Honorable Kojo Pankuma, there are those who would say that they would have expected that at this press conference, your leader would have condemned the scenes we saw yesterday. The chairman has owned responsibilities for that at the vetting today, but there was no word from the chairman, given that we saw some NPP MPs raising tables and some of the things, putting chairs on the tables, why has there been no condemnation from the party, given that only 2-3 days ago, this party, the MPP, put out a statement against MFA Castle for certain things she did that they considered to be contemptuous of the powers of Parliament? Why are we not seeing the same thing?
The chairman spoke for both sides. He spoke for the committee. He didn't speak for the majority. I'm sure you recall that that press conference was for the committee. And that encapsulated the members from both sides and the regrets of Parliament and the committee for what transpired. But there is a trigger and an underlying tension. That underlying tension is what our leader has addressed here today. That the cooperation we have offered, even more than extensive, is now being undermined. Last night, I'm sure you yourself were worried at the thugs who were allowed to enter the conference room and who were hurling verbal attacks at members of the minority. And I'm sure you observed, in fact, if I saw correctly, you were following, when he had to take police people, some in helmets, etc., to move the leader out of the conference room. So these underlying tensions must be addressed. The Clerk of Parliament, the Marshal of Parliament, they have to take charge of the security situation and provide the environment that allows open, frank disagreements, respectful as it may be, to take place. If you allow thugs into Parliament's committee rooms, then things are really degenerating. This wasn't the situation 4 years ago or even 8 years ago. Now you have thugs not only going to state institutions, but now entering committee rooms in Parliament. Secondly, if you look at the posture of the minority, even at the risk of criticism from our supporters and our base, to be cooperative and assist the government quickly take shape. And the fact that now the majority side wants to railroad people through, it must be objected to. And the majority must be advised that, listen, cooperation is the name of the game. Cooperate and let's get business going.
I take it that you personally condemn the kind of scenes that we saw yesterday.
All of us have spoken through the chairman of the committee.
This morning
there is something called the letter and something called the spirit when it comes to legal arrangements. Of decision making in this house is consensus. When we go into a pre-sitting meeting and come to a consensus that we are going to take 3 people. While we are finishing our caucus meeting so that we can come for the pre-sitting meeting, the clerk is then swearing in the witness before the committee.
The chairman says
when you ask, the clerk tells you that it's the chairman who says. Now, even where the chairman, assuming the chairman is being partisan, it is the responsibility of the clerk, and that's why I cited you what happens in the chamber. It is the responsibility of the clerk to advise the chairman, we have an agreement. Me as administrator, I am privy to this agreement that yourself and your colleague, the ranking, will have a meeting. If you are asking me to swear this person in for you and your people alone here to start, there will be chaos, chairman.
And let me get the chairman says, I won't listen.
Well,
like that.
Clerks at every point in time know how to maneuver and draw attention to guide the processes. This clerk, and it's very unfortunate that we will have to do that as a caucus. We would not ordinarily do it, but it is becoming one too many, and that is why attention is being drawn.
Thank you very much, explaining to me some of the things that have been held by the caucus. What do you make of that? I don't think that your side, you don't have the numbers, you need to allow the process to go through.
We've accommodated enough. We've allowed the process to go through. If you listen to our leader today, he emphasized the point that from the beginning, right from the beginning, we showed the goodwill, we showed the commitment towards the process. You know, we had to sidestep some of the processes so that government business can continue. And because of that, even with the publication and waiting for information from the public and all that, were sidestepped so that government business will continue. If you watch if you look at the initial vetting that was done, the first 3 people, it went so smoothly, and subsequently almost all the other vettings were going on. But just as we emphasized today, we cannot just push through or rubber stamp the process. I believe for the majority, we would have just done a rubber stamp vetting, we come and then all you hear is congratulations, honorable, and we push them through. But Ghanaians want us to vet the nominees and get the best out of them, because they are going to supervise over our taxpayers' money, they are going to supervise over our administration, the processes of governance and all that. And based on that, we have to get the best out of the nominees so that Ghanaians will know that the people going to man the affairs of our country are up and doing, they have the capabilities and the capacity to be able to perform. And based on that, we have made it a mandate that we will get the best for Ghanaians. But quite surprisingly, if you look at the processes going on and with the clerk and the chairman and all the things that are going on, it's beginning to look like every now and then they want to find a way to smuggle people in and fast forward the process, so fast track the process, so that we're not able to do the work that we are mandated to do as Parliamentary.
Honourable Michael Hussein, thank you very much. That's the Member of Parliament for Clerk sharing his views. So the minority NPP have just held a news conference explaining their viewpoint about all the things that have been happening in committee. Ultimately, they believe that the fact of the committee will be blamed and who the standing on it does not give the responsibility to organize meetings. It is the one behind all this, and they really think that she should take some more responsibility. We will go to the committee, but let me speak to Honourable really shortly and get his views on all this. There are those who say that the minority is being obstructionist, and even though you claim that you want to see this process through, that your conduct is in a manner that blocks the doing of the work of the committee to approve this nominees.
If anybody will be fair in this country, has followed procedures, has followed vetting of this house, you will get to know that when the president makes news and communicates same to the house, the speaker receives it, reads it, and forwards it to the appropriate committee. When it comes, the committee would publish said names in the days for 2 weeks as a practice for the government, the public to present their issues, their memos, anything they have. Did you see them? Nominees will get vetted. The following day, some even the same day, they come to this house and we approve them. What is so, so cooperative than this exercise? Did you see that in 2020? Did you see that in 2022? Did you see that in 2017? All our ministers that were vetted, some even went through 2 months, 3 months before approval here. So if anybody dare say that we are being obstructive, then the person has not followed parliamentary rudiments well. I am the first time, but I've come to learn, So anybody that says that is not being fair to the truth and is being political and partisan. Look, the best the minority can do, the best the majority can do is to comment us for what we have done for them so far. When the minister designate for education get vetted, when the minister designate for interior building, they vetted him the same day, we approved him the same day. Who will do this for them? So if we are doing all these things in the spirit of getting you to form government so that we can take the government on as we promised. So yesterday, we agree. I am part of the panel that will vet the minister designate for foreign affairs. In fact, we came prepared and we were told that it is not slated for today. As at 8 o'clock, I was even in this house. As at 9 o'clock, I was even in the committee room to confirm whether it will happen or not. They told me it won't happen. I got home only to hear that they have arranged the minister not designate for foreign affairs to come and say the committee have permanent members and then you have subject matter reps. All the subject matter reps for the MPP were all gone home. So who was going to do the vetting? And then when you allow the NDC, you have not been following what the NDC do. Oh, minister, congratulations. God bless you. Bye-bye. Congratulations. That's all they do. That's all they do. They don't ask anything. They don't ask any problem questions. Congratulations. God bless you. Bye-bye. So the people who do that oversight job of the parliament, which is vetting, scrutinizing them and making sure that relevant questions are asked, is a minority. And